Triple H was close to walking out on WWE. Another WWE talent actually quits the company. My review of Monday Night Raw and more. I'm Ollie Davis, and this is the WrestleTalk News.
Support WrestleTalk!
Get exclusive bonus videos over at patreon.com/WrestleTalk. Triple H is everyone's favourite wrestling promoter right now. Apart from when he does post-show media conferences. Trips, you really need to do some basic media training. But in wrestling booking, he's made weekly TV coherent. He's built up trust that premium live events are going to be great. And most wrestlers are now choosing not to go to AEW. Triple H has led WWE into the critically and commercially successful Renaissance era. But it was very, very nearly not this way at all. Vince McMahon was seemingly building Levesque up to one day take over WWE Creative. NXT wasn't just a developmental brand for new talent, it was developmental for Triple H to run a wrestling company. But after AEW beat NXT in the ratings, pushing NXT to Tuesday nights, Levesque suffered a cardiac event in September 2021, requiring him to undergo heart surgery. At that same time, Vince completely overhauled Triple H's creative vision, rebranding NXT to NXT 2.0. It seemed Levesque was just the latest to have fallen out of Vince's favour as a potential successor. His wife Stephanie McMahon took a leave of absence shortly after, but then Vince had to retire in June 2022, following the first reports of sexual misconduct. Stephanie and Triple H ended up leading WWE with Nick Khan in Vince's absence. But then Vince forced his way back in, leading to Stephanie leaving the company again. Triple H stayed on, but according to his longtime friend and pioneer of the X Division, Kevin Nash, during that time Levesque was close to quitting WWE if Vince wasn't forced out. As soon as Levesque got his hands on the controls, changed. The product became, it just was night and day. Then Vince almost tried to kibosh it and they went through all that again. I think at that point, if it wouldn't have went the way it did, I think Paul would have walked. Steph already had. We never had the conversation, but I know Paul. I have talked to Paul about some other things. I know some other information that made me feel really good when I heard how Endeavour felt about Paul. Beloved ring announcer Samantha Irvin, however, has actually quit WWE by posting a statement on her Instagram thanking her colleagues and fans and teasing a mystery next move. Both Fightful and WrestleVote are reporting that while it was expected Irvin would eventually leave following her fiancé Ricochet going to AEW in the summer, many backstage in WWE were caught by surprise by how suddenly it came. Irvin was reportedly a very positive presence at Monday Night Raw, with one person even saying she made the workday better. Unsurprisingly, considering where Ricochet 450'd to in August, Fightful notes that people in WWE and AEW expect an offer to be made for her to join AEW. Whereas Ricochet himself has posted, haha, she's not coming to AEW. You can all rest easy. Crying with laughter face emoji. The Wrestling Observer is reporting that Irvin has been considering leaving WWE for over a year to pursue her childhood dreams of a singing career. Because everything eventually becomes about AEW versus WWE in 2020's wrestling, NXT have announced they'll be running head-to-head against AEW Dynamite on Wednesday the 6th of November, moving from their usual Tuesday night time slot that week so they don't clash with the big Undertaker versus Batista match, aka the US presidential election. Back on the 8th of October, AEW was moved to NXT's Tuesday time slot, where they got slaughtered by NXT's 874,000 viewers to Dynamite's all-time low of 329,000. This time should be more favourable to AEW because it's their time slot home turf, so NXT have announced the occupation of some different ground. The 6th of November, NXT will take place from the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia, aka the ECW Arena. While the 2300 Arena confusingly only has a 1,300 person capacity, it has the history and intense atmosphere that might surpass AEW running a larger but emptier building. It's Monday, you know what that means. Yep, the Raw review. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday, you know what that means. Not the Raw review, I'll get into that in a bit. The brand new episode of Luke vs. Pete in Monday Night Raw The Last Chance, which is up now exclusively for Patreons. Go to patreon.com/WrestleTalk to watch episode 7 with a special appearance from reigning champion Dan Layton, along with the rest of the series now. Here's a clip.
How was that, mate? Ooh. Oh, there's that quiet confidence coming back, mate.
No, there's a little bit of quiet confidence.
Hello.
I'm not going to say too much, but I think there's some quiet confidence in there.
Ooh.
So we shall see.
Exciting.
It could be absolutely nothing, and I'm getting my hopes up for Nouts.
Yeah.
But here is my thinking.
Yeah.
If this works, I will blow off 7 rivalries in 2 shows.
You can watch the whole series right now on patreon.com/WrestleTalk. But now here's my review of Monday Night Raw in about 5 minutes. Also from Philadelphia, just the Canadian one, the episode began with its usual cold open shots of people arriving. There's Bron Breakker ahead of his title match main event. There's the Saudi Arabian Crown Jewel Championship belt being carried in like it's Baron Harkonnen from June. And there's Bronson oh my god, he's being attacked by Seth Rollins. Continuing the chaos of Bronson versus Braun to open the show, Seth is firmly in the Kaiju division, calling out Reed to the ring. Starting a big pull-apart brawl that included Bronson F5 throwing a dude onto a load of security guards and missing a tsunami through the announcer's table. Every time Adam Pearce was then asked backstage later on how he planned to restore order, Seth and Reed would suddenly appear to start attacking each other again. No, I have no idea how someone the size and shape of Bronson Reed can suddenly appear either. Pearce eventually folded, furthering his drinking problem, and gave them their match together for Crown Jewel. Near the end of last year, a lot of articles were published about how AEW runs too many tournaments. This year, WWE have run 9 tournaments, so about 1 a month, with 2 of them going on right now. One for the Raw and one for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. For the Raw side, New Day beat AOP despite AOP having 4 managers at ringside. The match changed when The Miz joined Karrion Kross wearing all black and sunglasses in case you missed that he's a heel now, when R-Truth attacked him, causing a distraction that let a Kofi roll-up get the win. The final testament went to beat up Truth afterwards. Kofi wanted to make the save, but Woods stopped him, shouting that it wasn't their fight, neatly furthering one of Raw's best stories of the year. So instead, we finally got the next appearance from the Wyatt Six, who had a fun monster brawl with AOP through the crowd and Uncle Howdy trying to jump The Miz from behind, but getting Paul Ella in instead. The other qualifier saw LWO beat American Made in the night's second best match. It was your classic My GM Cruiserweight versus Giant matchup, which the crowd loves to see. Like Dragon Lee's dive outside being so fast he somehow totally cleared Brutus and hit Julius midway up the ramp. And the Creeds just being awesome with deadlift suplexes. Zelina Vega stopped Chad Gable and Ivy Nile interfering though, so the LWO got the win, making it them versus New Day versus the War Raiders in a #1 Containers triple threat next week. Who are 3 great teams, but I feel American Made should have gone over here as they need some credible wins. Speaking of credible wins, nope, Liv Morgan still won't get one. We'll just do a DQ in the tag match again. After a run-in backstage, Damage Control got a match booked against Liv and Raquel Rodriguez. But with Samantha gone, we had Lillian Garcia making her return to ring announcing with all the gusto of a pre-recorded 2K19 audio clip, and her signature botches, calling the #1 Contenders matches #1 Containers matches, and that Liv was being accompanied by Dominic Mysterio when he wasn't. Damage Control and in particular EO are so good, they got the crowd into the match by the end, with Sky hitting a missile dropkick onto Liv on the barricade. But seemingly free agents Lakara Jackson and Lash Legend, who are just on every show now, got into a brawl with EO for the DQ, building their NXT tag match. Rhea Ripley then attacked Liv and Raquel, getting Morgan into the Prism Trap, which, fun fact, I genuinely thought was called the Prison Trap all these years until this morning. Like a prison with bars, not a prism like a Pink Floyd album cover. Dom saved her, Rhea briefly got the Prism Trap on him too, but Liv and Raquel pulled him to safety. Connecting all these various dots was Carlito making a Chinese joke backstage, because Triple H doesn't see nationality. In the Little Rascals clubhouse, the Judgment Day went through their various storylines. Finn can handle the tag team titles, he's more concerned about stopping Damien getting a world title shot. Dom says maybe he could beat Gunther, which made Carlito laugh. No one else thought that was a joke though, and Raquel asked, "Carlito, what do you even do around here?" To which Carlito replied, he brings the cool factor, and that he's also the fixer. In fact, he's going to fix Dom a match against Gunther right now. So he walks in at the end of Pearce talking to Damage Control and says, "I gotta learn Chinese." To quote Io Sky herself when she was heckled to go back to China in NXT, "She's Japanese, bitch." Pearce didn't grant the world title shot. Instead, Dom will get to prove himself against a former world champion next week. It's totally The Rock. It's been reported that WWE are looking to break Carlito away from the Judgment Day faction, so this will probably cause the tension required to do so. Damian Priest told Gunther backstage that once Crown Jewel is over, they've got a World Heavyweight title problem to deal with. And the main event was Jey Uso versus Bron Breakker for the Intercontinental Championship. Do you like ring entrances? 30 seconds of action, then a 4-minute ad break, then several more minutes of action in one continuous camera shot, then another 4-minute ad break, then 7 minutes for the finish? Then boy, have I got the wrestling TV main event format for you. I'm being very cynical there, but as usual, the final third was brilliantly booked. Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, and the Tongans all turned up in the front row, having bought tickets, pretending to be there to support Jey. But Jey super kicked out both Tongans, and Bron accidentally speared Solo, leading to by far the coolest moment of the night: Bron and Jacob going face to face outside. It was just a tantalising tease though, as Jey hit a dive on them both and a splash in the ring on Bron for a great near fall. But the Tongans distracted the referee, and Fatu intercepted Jey's spear with a super kick and Samoan drop on the announce table. Bron heelishly took advantage and hit his supercharged spear to win back the IC title. Yes, Jey's reign was too short for his first singles championship. Yes, it does make Bron's initial loss and subsequent dropped face turn seem pointless. But son of a bitch, the Bloodline have done it again, adding a fascinating element to the family psychodrama. If Jey focused on his title rather than getting involved at last Friday's SmackDown, he'll still be the champion. This week's Raw was the best paced 2-hour show so far at 70%. A group of former WWE writers have shot on what it was like working under Vince McMahon. Watch the video on screen now to learn about the alleged toxic workplace.